Hey, it's your girl Chanel Renee, and welcome to Purity Points. I'm going to jump right into this video. I want to talk about what soul ties are and how they are formed, just so you can prevent them. So it's not something that tries to destroy and ruin your life. So obviously, we'll go over what a soul is. Your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions. A soul tie is when you have a connection or a bond between another person and their soul, and it's something that you receive from like an emotional connection or physical connection. So maybe you and your best friend both grew up in divorced families and you guys have spoke about it. You guys probably have an emotional bond, an emotional soul tie, which is a positive one. It's not a bad thing. But there's negative ones that can form. So sex outside of marriage, when you have a physical connection with somebody, that can turn into a soul tie. And a soul tie, when you have one and it's negative, it's basically an unhealthy or toxic relationship that you still want in your life. So whether somebody has hurt you, whether they have just come in and out of your life and they keep doing the same things, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how toxic or how unhealthy it is, you still want it. And it's something that you don't even understand. So I'm definitely going to go over how this happens in our life. So the first way that this happens is we end up loving somebody more than we love God. And it's so funny because we have that term called bae, and bae means before anything else. And the problem with that is if we put people before we put God, well, we're giving them our soul. Well, how do you give them your soul? Okay, well, that person, they have your mind because they're always on your mind. Like you are always thinking about them. Everything that you do is for them. Like it is a consuming of your mind. You wake up, you think about them, you brushing your teeth, you on your way to work, you're at work, you're leaving work, whatever it is that has to do with your daily routine, they are always on your mind. And it's so much so that it's a consuming thing. It's not like, oh, I thought about you real quick. No, it's I'm thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. All I can think about is you. And it's a consistent thing. And the only reason why this is negative is because this person has hurt you, or this person is just not good for you, you know? And maybe they are a good person, but the timing is off. But at the end of the day, you know it's not right. Your will. So that's basically what that is. You have them in your life and feel like they have to be there. Like it's a need. Like, oh, they need to be in my life. It has to be us. You have to be the person for me. Or I wonder if they feel the same way. And just this, you can't let go of them. Your will is theirs. Anything that they will, anything that they want, you want. Just as long as you can have them in your life, you do not care, as long as they are in your life. And then, of course, your emotions. So everything that they do affects how you react. If something happens and it's bad, you get upset. If there is a change in the relationship, it changes and alters your mood so much that it controls your entire day. It controls maybe your weekend because they didn't call you back. It's something that consumes your mind, your will, and your emotions. And we give people our soul through those types of interactions after they've hurt us, or after they have just come in and out of our life and we know the relationship is toxic. So that's one way that they're formed, is we end up loving them more than we love God, and not allowing God to have our mind, not allowing God to have our will or our emotions. Instead of asking God if this is the right promotion for you, you are going to beg and saying, hey, I might have to move. And obviously you would do that if you're in a relationship, but you do it first. And not only do you do that first, but that's all that you care about. And in fact, you know that you love somebody more than you love God when anything that happens in your life, you first think about them. You get an email and it's telling you like, oh, you can finance this car. And all you think about is, ooh, what kind of car would Bae like? No. So that's the first way. A second way that you can receive a soul tie is you love them more than you love yourself. And just like all the examples I gave, it's something to where they literally are controlling and altering your every move in your life and your lifestyle. And it's because we care more about them than we do ourselves. And that's an internal thing that we have to look at. And that's probably based on number one as well. Because we're not loving God in the correct way, we're not also receiving his love. So we don't love ourselves internally as much as we should. And we love someone else more. And a third way that you receive a soul tie is through the hardest one, which is disobedience. And it's the hardest one because when you love somebody or you're in a relationship, whether they hurt you or not, a lot of times you feel like, no, it's fine. Let's just stick it out. Let's just rough it out. I got this. Like, it's me and you all day. We got this. And in reality, if all of the signs are there, or maybe God even told you and has showed you and revealed to you this is not the person for you, but you still keep running back, and you fall into this territory of going outside of God's will. When we go outside of God's will, we are basically giving the enemy a door for him to enter into our life and attack us. And these attacks are like out of nowhere too. Like, it could be your health. All of a sudden you're sick and you're stressed out all the time. It's because you're still holding on to something that you were never intended to hold on to, that you were never intended to invest so much time and energy and yourself into, and it drains you. You're tired all the time. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You basically don't have any peace in your mind, in your will, and your emotions, because you went outside the will of God, and now the enemy is allowed to just come in there and mess with you. And I did do a video on removing soul ties and how you do that. And honestly, when it goes into the form of disobedience, now you kind of have to go back to God and say, hey, I'm sorry, I did this. I need you to release the hand of the enemy off of my life because I let them in. So yeah, the way that soul ties are formed and just can become something that, you know, is the goal of the enemy, which is to still kill and destroy our very life, is through loving someone more than we love God, loving someone more than we love ourselves, and disobeying God and going outside of his will. So I do pray that this video has helped you, that you're able to identify if you do have any soul ties, but mostly that you do not even form one, because you are worth the wait. God loves you more than anything, and I pray that he is able to reveal that to you. And until next time, protect your purity.